Hello and welcome. Today's project is all about the 5 must-knows of anxiety. Now, if you are new to my channel, this is a great video to help you understand the chaos of what you're currently going through with anxiety. I suffered from health anxiety in the past. I suffered from agoraphobia. I overcame them naturally. And then I studied cognitive behavioral therapy. I studied neuro-linguistic programming, and I became an anxiety coach. Today, let's go over these 5 really crucial points that you need to know about anxiety, and maybe you'll have a paradigm shift and understand yourself a little bit better. Number 5 is that the 8-year-old mind is running the show. What does that mean? Well, if we look at Pinocchio, in that story, there's the cricket, and the cricket represents Pinocchio's conscience. And at the beginning of the movie, the cricket is dressed like a tramp. He's a slob. He doesn't know any better. He can't even properly articulate and understand the words coming out of his mouth. And the Pinocchio is a puppet at that point too. So they're both underdeveloped creatures, right? But as the movie progresses, the cricket develops alongside Pinocchio as Pinocchio starts to explore the world and develop his character. So when I used to suffer from anxiety, I used to be a slave to this 8-year-old voice. That it was this underdeveloped conscience. But the more I pushed myself through anxiety recovery, the more my conscience developed as well, and the 8-year-old voice became less of a slave. I became less of a slave to that voice. And, well, if you're on a playground and an 8-year-old comes up to you and says, you shouldn't do this, or you should believe in that, would you take that kid seriously? No, you'd be like, you're just an 8-year-old kid. But we don't realize that our minds need to harden and develop. That why are we listening to that inner voice that says we should fear this, or what if this happens, what if that happens, we should avoid this. But the more we stop listening to that voice, well, the more enlightened we become, the wiser we become, and the stronger we become, more independent, right? We start to explore and reach outside of our known territory into the unknown, right? Anxiety sufferers want to be secluded in this confined space of their known territory, their safe zone, and anything outside, anything unknown is too anxiety provoking. But in that unknown, that's where we're going to develop and grow. And the more we do that, the more we grow our conscience as well. Now, before I get into number 4, I just want to say that the anxiety response, which is from the amygdala, can make you seem like you're going crazy. And a lot of clients come to me and say, Brad, I feel trapped. I feel like I'm going crazy. I feel like no one understands me. And I say to them, that's because your anxiety response, it takes over all other brain processes. It takes over. It's running the show. The 8-year-old ancient part of us is running the show. This brain is hundreds of thousands of years old. The amygdala, the unconscious brain, that's a very old brain. So when I say 8-year-old voice, well, I mean that your ancient brain certainly acts like an 8-year-old child, right? If there's any sort of threat of pain, we avoid it. And the more we give in to the voice and the more emotions we provide and project towards that ancient system, the more we limit ourselves and the more sensitive we become. Number 4 is that there's 2 pathways to anxiety. the amygdaloid pathway, the amygdala, and through the prefrontal cortex. Now, the prefrontal cortex, our more developed critical brain, not as ancient as the amygdala, we can think our way to panic. We can think our way to anxiety. So we can do that through the words, what if, what if, what if. Or we can do that with images, imagining your loved one sick or ill or getting hurt. Causes us negative emotion, right? So we can think our way to anxiety, or it's so reflexive that we show up somewhere and we get a panic attack. We don't even know why. So we can trace where the anxiety stems from more easily if it's through thoughts and images, but sometimes we can't figure that out. We show up somewhere and we feel panic and anxiety. That's because the amygdala understands that this is a place of danger, and we didn't think our way or imagine our way here. It's just responding because associations have been made before that we can't recall. And that's number 3. The amygdala works by association. So if you go to the shopping mall and you have a panic attack, you feel the heart palpitations, you feel the nausea, you react to all of these sensations, the dizziness, and you leave the environment, yeah, you're making the association that these sensations are not good and are a threat, but also you're making the association that this environment is a place of threat and danger. And now you're going to be more sensitive to other environments that resemble the one you ran away from. So for example, for me, I was very sensitive and I ran away from the shopping mall. But then I would be in a classroom and I would have a panic attack in a classroom. The shopping mall and the classroom, are they similar places to the amygdala? Yeah. Well, why? Because in both places, I felt trapped and I felt like I would embarrass myself in front of other people because I was around other people. And so when you run away from an environment, you run away from a grizzly bear, your amygdala is like, okay, I get the connection. Grizzly bear is threat. I understand. But when you run away from a shopping mall, it's kind of confusing to you because you don't really get it, right? But if you look at it more closely, you will see that, oh yeah, I responded to my sensations as being a threat, and so I left the environment. But also leaving the environment, well, now I'm treating the environment as if it's a threat, and now you start to limit and close your world and shrink your world smaller and smaller. Number 2 is your anxiety is most likely the cause of your strange sensation. It's a paradox. Now, I always tell my clients, and I'll tell you, get your sensation checked. If you're ruminating about a particular sensation, body zap, body ache, as being something really serious, go get that checked. After you get it checked and you rule out anything serious, it's safe to say that your stress is causing a lot of symptoms. And it makes sense because there's a lot of adrenaline and cortisol being pumped throughout your body. Your extremities are getting ready to respond to the danger, fight, flight, or freeze. It's getting ready. It's on alert. Your body is tense because the alarm bells are going off. And so because your body is tense, there's stuff inside that's not working properly. Digestion becomes compromised. breathing becomes compromised, your heart rate is beating faster, cholesterol goes up, lots of stuff is happening. It's going to produce strange sensations. So counteract this system with your parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest and digest. So behaving differently, reducing your stress by engaging in relaxation strategies. Really important for recovery. Number one is the threat grows the more you avoid. So, like I said earlier, with the shopping mall, you avoid the shopping mall, what happens? You're more sensitive to go back there because of the association your amygdala made over that environment. And so when we sweep things under the rug, unresolved emotions, they stay there. The energy builds up. People who suffer from anxiety or haven't dealt with the traumas of their past, you can see that their emotional baggage is overflowing. There's a lot of energy, stored up tension, right? What happens when you're in anger mode? What is really anger mode? You feel like there's so much energy that you have to get it out, right? And it's really important to get that energy out, to resolve and heal from past experiences of the past, right? The stuff we're holding on to, the chains and the shackles that keep us stuck in the past. So something happened from your childhood, traumatic memories, embarrassing moments from high school, something happened a year ago where you suffered a panic attack and that made you overly sensitive over your health, or a family member got ill. Something exceeded your emotional threshold. And your amygdala holds on to that moment as a picture, as a movie, because it's saying to you, hey, here's a threat to your life, right? This is what happened. It's a threat. I'm going to hold on to it, and we have to resolve it. But if it remains unresolved, what happens? What happens if it remains unresolved? You know exactly what happens. You feel the anxiety. Your unconscious will continue to remind you of this is what you need to deal with. You'll catch yourself throughout the day in trances of past moments and not even understand why, or you'll feel the negative emotion of that past event and you'll repress it. But that's the sign that it needs to come out. It needs to release from the body. Now, I hope that this video helped you to understand anxiety a little bit more. If you are interested in coaching, please sign up on my website at unpluganxiety.com. We'll work together. We'll help in the resolving of those emotional issues, the past struggles that you're currently dealing with anxiety, and what's currently going on with the world around you right now. Right? Things have gotten so beyond you. How do you gain more of that order in your life? If you have any comments about the video, please leave them below. If there's something I missed, please leave your comment. Do not let anxiety define who you are. I will see you on the next video. Bye for now. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and that bell so that whenever a new video of mine appears, you will be one of the first to know. Namaste.